Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Harshita again. Thank you so much for the positive response on my previous video. And as I had mentioned in my previous video, that if you have any questions, you can ask in the comments below. And I got quite a lot of questions, and one question which was common across various comments was about the content writing business that I ran in college. So I have a question from Ronnie. So the question is, please make a video on your creative writing business and how you got your first set of customers. So in this video, I'll be talking about the same. So essentially, what I'll talk about in this video is, first thing, a brief about my previous content writing business. And secondly, if you want to start your own content writing business, how can you go about doing that? So I'll be telling about how you get your first set of customers, how do you build a team, how do you deliver content. A lot of topics I'll be touching upon in this video. So for anybody who is willing to start their own content writing business, I hope this video will be super useful for you. Okay, so without much ado, I'll just start with the content for this video. So first thing, the brief about my previous content writing business. Okay, so in the previous business, so as I had mentioned in my previous video, so I was doing that business while in college, right? So in college, we were delivering content, basically the blog posts on various topics, like JE was one topic, then there was data science, machine learning, Excel, a lot of different topics we were writing content on, right? So that was the first thing. The first client that we had onboarded was Wiley Publishing, so company. And at that time, I did not have a team per se. So I was the sole content creator at that time, and I was writing topics about JE, right? So different topics, physics, chemistry, maths, and stuff. So at that time, this I'm talking way back. This is 2014. Okay, so when I was very I think in my second year of college is what I'm talking about. So this was at that time. So actually what happened was that in my case, for up till third year mid, okay, so I had been just writing content as a freelancer. So I did not have a team around that time, right? So it was just me who was writing content on the topics that I was aware about or I had learned about. So yeah, it just after the mid of third year, it stuck to me that I can just build a team now, scale up this business, go on to more clients, deliver content on more topics apart from just JE curriculum and stuff, right? So yeah, so that is how it happened around that time. So when we had scaled, right, so when I had got more customers, so the customers were from India and abroad countries like USA, Poland, Germany, another European countries. So I got customers from different countries as well. So further in this video, I'll be talking about how can you do it for your content writing business if you want to start one. And in around 1 year, so since I had been doing it in college, right, so in around 1 year I had made around 50,000 US dollars at that time, which translates to around 40 lakh Indian rupees, right? So this is what I made in 1 year while in college itself. So I'll be talking more about that. So essentially when you get a lot of customers, you can deliver a lot of content, and yeah, based on the different articles, how are they priced and stuff. So if you scale up your content writing business, you can make such numbers in revenues. So it was a pretty small business at that time. So this is what I did in first year, in the first year of running this business while in college. But if you want to scale this business to even more customers and content writers in your team, so of course you can make a lot bigger revenue numbers, right? So that was the thing. So around that time, I had hired a team of around 20 freelancers to deliver content. And a very important learning that I had done while this content writing business in college was about standard operating procedures. So standard operating procedures I'll be talking a bit more about that further in this video. So these are very important when you're trying to create your own business. So when I had like been in Cognos when I joined, right? So at that time, my learning from college of the standard operating procedures, also known as SOPs, was very useful. Okay, so I'll be talking about that also further in this video. So this was a brief about my previous content writing business, and now I'll be talking about if you want to start your own content writing business, how can you go about doing that. Okay, so first thing I'll be talking about is onboarding new customers. Very important for any business is getting more customers, revenues, right? Hands down the most important thing. So you can write a lot of content, but if you don't have customers, who will you write for, right? So getting more new customers is very important. So I'll be telling you how I did that and how can you do that. So when one trick which works a lot is okay, so what you do is that you say if you want to write top content on machine learning, okay, for example. So what you can do is you can just go on some websites, right, and see if they have blogs on machine learning, right? So if you see these companies do maintain blogs on machine learning, so then the first thing that you do is that you go on LinkedIn, okay, search for somebody in the marketing team of that company, right? Preferably a senior person like marketing head or some senior person in the marketing department. You can reach out to them, okay. You can send them some samples of your previous work, right? If you have some previous work, or if you are a beginner, right? If say you do not have any customers so far and you are trying to reach to your first customer, right? So what you can do is that you can just like write some sample blogs, okay, and like send an email to this person, okay, email, LinkedIn message, whatever is possible. You can just send a message to this person in the marketing team of that company saying that, hey, hey Mr. XYZ, so I am like interested in writing articles. So I saw these articles in your website and I'm interested in writing, and see these are some similar blog articles that I have written in the past, right? And you can also offer to write a first few articles on trial basis for free so that they get confidence in your work, and then after that you can just write on a paid basis, okay. So that is one thing that you can do. This trick got me a pretty high conversion rate, okay. I mean, like, there are other websites, right? You can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, you can go on various freelancing websites to write content, right? But typically what happens is that these websites, it's a very competitive over there because there are a lot of content writers, right? So what worked for me at that time was reaching out directly to the potential customers. I wrote emails to people like crazy. I mean, I had written a lot of email reaching out to a lot of people in various companies, and I saw a pretty good conversion rate. The crux is that you have to send them some samples of your previous work, so that they can just see, like, if they like your content, if they want to give you a chance, right? So that is very important. You have to do that. And of course, like, writing a few articles for free on a trial basis and then writing on paid basis, it gives them a lot more comfort that they can go ahead with you and try your work, right? So this was the thing about onboarding new customers. Next I'll be talking about is scaling your team of content writers, okay. So like, since I had been doing it in college, right, so I did not hire anybody full time. I mean, it was just a team of freelancers. So as I mentioned, I had a team of around 20 freelancers at that time, right? So first thing is, before hiring anybody, okay, what you have to do is that you have to write the articles by yourself, right? Reach out to new customers, write articles by yourself, so that you know that what is actually working for the customers, what the customers are liking, what they are not liking. It is very important for you firstly to understand, okay, what is there, right? And once you do that, and once you are pretty like aware about what works, what doesn't work, what is like, what is not liked by the readers and all, so then you can go about hiring people, right? So I'll talk about myself, what I did, and then you can just see what works for you. So I went ahead to hire a team of freelancers, okay. So 20 around freelancers were there. How I hired them was like I went to Quora, okay, and I saw that on these various topics, like who are the people who are writing content, like answering questions on Quora related to these topics, right? For example, if I have to hire somebody for writing content on JEE, right? So I'll go to Quora, okay, and I'll see that, okay, for the JEE related questions, like who are the people who are answering these questions, right? And then I'll just DM them on Quora and say that, hey, if you're interested in writing for like these topics, right? So and on a paid basis, of course. So just let me know and we can connect, right? So this is what I used to do, and not just for JEE, like this works for various topics, right? So machine learning, data science, Excel, like multiple topics. So Quora was one go-to source for me for hiring freelancers, okay. And then like what the other approach that I followed was that, obviously, like going to other websites, seeing like blog articles over there and seeing the name of the writer, right? And if I can just get a LinkedIn profile or some other social media profile and DMing that person over there, okay. So I always firmly believe in reaching out to the people who are relevant directly by yourself, okay. So this is how I used to do for hiring a team of freelancers. Third thing I'll talk about is making SOPs, standard operating procedures, okay. Very important for running any business, okay. So first thing is, what are SOPs? So SOPs, as I mentioned, standard operating procedures. So these are essentially some processes which are standardized, okay. So that, and these are very important because if your team scales, right, these processes will be followed by everybody, okay, so that the output that you get is of a same format. This can be one way of thinking about it. And second way is so that there is less confusion, like what is to be done, right? So basically, like if the processes are defined, right? I'll be talking about content writing processes further. So I'm just telling generic what is an SOP. So if you define the processes, like how a thing is to be done, right? So everybody knows that what is expected out of them, right? What they have to do to achieve the desired results, right? So it becomes very easy, and it also, like when a new person joins the team, it becomes very easy for them to understand that what is expected out of them, right? So it is very important that you make standard operating procedures, right? And also a very important thing is, especially for the content writing business, that you get content in the same format that you want, okay. So that is very important. And yeah, so of course, like SOPs help you when you are scaling your team, okay, or you're onboarding more customers. Like these are the well-defined processes that help you scale, okay. And also, like say later on, say if you have hired a lot of freelancers or like full-time people, like depending on your nature of business, say if you have hired a lot of people, and later on if you want to hire some managers, right? Because if there are a lot of people, it will become very difficult for you to manage them, right? So you will have to hire some managers, right? So if you have well-defined processes and everybody is working as per those processes, when you hire a new manager, they won't take a lot of time in getting the understanding, right, of how things are working out, right? So they can just go through those processes, the documents and all of those processes, and they can understand that, okay, how people are working, right? So it becomes very easy to onboard new people, like individual contributors and managers alike, right? So very important. And now I'll talk about SOPs in the content writing business that I had back at that time, okay. So one thing I was very particular about, like I'm very, very crazy about attention to detail. So I like see things very much in detail. So it irks me out, like if there is even like a double space somewhere, or different fonts, right? I mean, where the font should have been consistent, the punctuations, right, spelling mistakes and all. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just get a bit uncomfortable when I see that. And especially in content writing business, it is very important that your content is grammatically correct and it makes sense, right? It is in a presentable format. It is very important. So so I had SOPs around font sizes, headings, right, paragraph lengths, how the paragraphs have to begin, right? Punctuations and stuff. So I had very clear SOPs around that, guidelines around that, like how do you use like where do you have to use a comma, and like I'll just give an example. So like many people write example like eg dot, right? So and many people write it for example, comma, and then they write the example, right? So I wanted to standardize that as well. So I just mentioned that, okay, we will not write eg dot, we will write for example. Okay, things like that. I mean, small things, but yeah, when I had put it in a document, I got a lot of articles which were looking very similar, even though they had been written by different writers, right? So standardization helps in that. Okay, then I had like SOPs around SEO guidelines. So when you're writing content, SEO is very important. So I had some guidelines around that. And also because it's content writing, right, and there are a lot of writers that are there and who write different blog posts, it is very important to check that there is not much plagiarism, right? So plagiarism is not at all encouraged, and it is very important to have original content, right? Because if you're just copying content from the internet, then you're not adding any new value, right? More customers will not like you because the content is already on the internet, right? So you have to like it should not be plagiarized, right? You have to add your own inputs, or you have to write it in a manner which is easily understandable by the readers, right? You cannot just copy paste content from somewhere on the internet and just say that it's your own, right? So there are various tools for plagiarism detection. Okay, and so I had guidelines around that also, like, okay, before submitting your article, check on these tools. The plagiarism should not be more than XYZ percentage or whatever, right? So like these are some examples which I had around like these are some examples of the SOPs which I had around content writing business. So okay, so I think I have covered quite a few things on content writing business, and yeah, I don't want to make this video very big, otherwise it might become boring. So I hope you find this video very helpful if you're trying to set up your own content writing business. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to mention in the comments below, and I'll just try to take it up in my further videos. And if there's some question which requires a lot of detailing, right, so probably I'll make a separate video about that. So any questions that you have regarding anything, the content writing business or the current business of software that we have, Cogno, or anything in general that you would want to ask me, just please mention in the comments in this video, and I'll try to take it up in my further videos. Thank you so much. Bye bye.